Today we are going to review ratios. By the end of class, you are going to be able to explain the concept of a ratio and use ratio language to describe ratio relationships. To review, a ratio is a comparison of two quantities. We can have a ratio that is part to part or part to whole. So if we look here, we've got boys and girls and total. So a part to part. So the total would be the entire class. This would be the whole. And these are the parts that make up that whole. So if we were going to compare part to part, we would compare boys to girls. Those are the two parts. We also could compare part to whole. So I would compare one part, so boys to whole, the total. Or I could compare girls to the total. Now, there's three ways to write ratios. The first one is to write A with the word to B. The second way would be using a colon, A to B. And the third way would be to write A over B, similar to a fraction. Okay, so all three of these ways are acceptable ways to write a ratio. So let's pretend that we are going to do girls to boys. So we would write, okay, we have girls. We have 6 girls. So girls would have to come first. Whatever comes first in our order is what we need to write first. So we could write 6 to 5. Or 6 to 5. Or 6 to 5. Whichever way you choose to write your ratio, you need to make sure that you are doing it in the order that is stated. So these are the ways to write a ratio. There's also 3 different ways to read a ratio. The first would just be, I'm going to use the 6 to 5 again. The first would just be to say 6 to 5. So if I'm reading a ratio, I can just read this 6 to 5. However, if we are writing or talking about or reading, and we need to sound a little more mathematical, this is what we will do. We will say for every 6 girls, so anytime there's 6 girls, there are 5 boys. Or we can flip that and say there are 6 girls for every 5 boys. So those key parts here are those for everys and there are. So for every 6, there are 5. So we will get into equivalent ratios in a minute, but that means that if we have 2 groups of 6 girls, then we would have 2 groups of 5 boys. All right. Super duper important. We must remember order matters. So whatever order your question is written or the order you're talking, you need to make sure they match. Girls 6, boys 5, or whatever it is. All right, let's go ahead and try a couple of examples. So let's see here. We have a picture of monkeys and bananas. Monkeys, 2 bananas. So I would count there's 4 monkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would come first. 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bananas. So my ratio of monkeys to bananas is 4 to 5. Now I have monkeys to total. So my monkeys are 4 And my bananas are 5, but I want the total. So 5 bananas plus 4 monkeys is 9. Monkeys to total would be 4 to 9. And then lastly, we have total 2 bananas. So again, I still have that 9 total. 9 to how many bananas? We have 5. So we would say for every 9 objects, there are 5 bananas. Why don't you take a look at the dogs and cats? What would my ratio be for dogs to cats? Cats to total and cats to dogs. Great. Well, there's 3 dogs to 4 cats, 4 cats to 7 total, and 4 cats to 3 dogs. Let's take a look at another type of example that we will come across. We will use this picture to fill in the blanks. These are ways that we could read or write sentences about a ratio. So it says the ratio of pencils to erasers is ratio of pencils. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Pencils must come first. And then erasers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my ratio is 4 to 6. The ratio of calculators to pencils, what would that be? Well, we know that there are 2 calculators and 4 pencils. Could I write 4 to 2? No, I must write calculators first and pencils second. And the reason for that is I need to know which one it is. We have more pencils than we do calculators. We need to know that. All right. Here, let's read this together. It says, for every blank erasers, well, there are 6 erasers. So every 6 erasers, there are 2 calculators. Now, this one gets into finding an equivalent ratio. So if we have 3 erasers only, how many calculators would we have? Good, we would only have 1 calculator. Or for every 3 erasers, we have 2 pencils. It's kind of like you're splitting that picture in half. So either option would work here. All right, last little piece here. We have a bunch of shapes here, and your task is to write 4 sentences using ratio relationships to describe this picture. So I want 4 sentences. You can use these models up here. Maybe try each one of these and go ahead and use this picture to write those sentences. I'm going to have you pause that video and then you will share your sentences.